Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hitmaker, the score. Welcome back to the next episode of The Score. I want to introduce you to my co-host, tax accountant, Mr. Dan Green with Green Financial. Also, my co-host, Mr. Tyreek Bay, Jetson Life. Today, guys, we're going to really get into on how the Democratic administration raised all that money to end up not winning any swing states or battleground states, and how they use these different type of tactics and use all these different type of strategies to deceive the American people that was all pro-Democrat in the Democratic administration and voting for Kamala Harris that still reside to be on the plantation. I can say to you, Mr. Dan Green and Mr. Tyreek Bay, these people out here that was rallying in behind that Democratic Party and that Democratic administration to vote this woman in to become their president of the United States of America, these people are really out of touch with reality. These people refuse to open up their intelligence and to be properly educated on who and what the Democratic Party stand for, even when it goes all the way back down the line and all the way back down the road to slavery. They used a lot of these funds, the campaign funds, misappropriated, mismanaged, almost similar like a Ponzi scheme, if you really ask me, Dan and Tyreek. That's what it looks like to me. When they raised all these billions of dollars or this $1 billion, in 90 days, to now end up in a situation where you owe a substantial amount of money. Where's the financial literacy? This woman was talking about helping the middle class and helping the working class citizens by bringing their costs down. And hell, you can't even manage, and your party and your administration can't even manage a damn campaign fund. When you misappropriate and steal all kind of money from this campaign fund to give it to pastors, to give it to celebrities, to give it to Hollywood elites, to give it to the lower life entertainers, to try to sway and to deceive the American people and bring their demise and lead them down to a road where it's going to bring their demise. But I want to get into this clip first so we can really engage with our viewers and our listeners in hopes that some of our viewers and listeners, if they were on the other side representing the Democratic administration or party, that they can have a new outlook on what kind of strategies and what kind of setups they were setting up to bring their demise, hopefully. But let's get into this clip first.
Major money problems for the Harris-Walz campaign, which is now at odds with the DNC over its reported $20 million debt.
FEC filings also show the campaign blew through more than $1 billion in just 3 months on things like celebrity events, consultants, and those always tricky private jets.
Yeah.
Allison Wynn is a former Obama fundraiser and a Silicon Valley tech pioneer. She joins us now. Allison, a Harris aide telling Axios, quote, how do you raise an historic amount of money and not win a single swing state? The honest answer is, I don't know. It seems we lost the national narrative, and that's what we need to diagnose. So, Allison, as a former Democrat fundraiser yourself, what insight can you provide into how they blew through all this money with nothing, absolutely nothing to show for it?
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Carly. Well, I think the Harris campaign is really out of touch. Even my 3 teenage kids told me that brat girl summer is over. So why are you spending millions of dollars on Megan Thee Stallion twerking, Lizzo, Eminem, J-Lo, Usher? Some of these are associates of P. Diddy. He is really not okay right now. So why do you want this type of affiliation? Right now, we really have to be very mindful, very demure. Not like that Donald Trump is demure, but he actually went on Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan. He talked for hours, and you really got to know his personality. He really cares and is curious about what's going on with the American people and the youth. I really enjoyed his podcast with Theo Vaughn, where he actually flipped the script and started asking Theo Vaughn why he was addicted to, I believe, cocaine and fentanyl. And that's an issue that we're all going through right now, not us personally, but many of our youth, many of our American citizens who are homeless are in San Francisco, LA, facing addiction problems.
It's a great point. And the DNC sent us a statement saying the campaign did not pay for endorsements. Any and all costs related to celebrities were towards production and relevant logistical costs. So that's their statement. Doesn't make up for the fact that there are significant money problems that they have right now. And I was reading that the Harris campaign reportedly was expecting the election results to be delayed. So if it took a week to determine who the next president was, they could use that time for people to keep on giving them money, continue to fundraise. But that didn't happen. Donald Trump, he was announced the winner at 2 o'clock the next morning. So all the fundraising stopped, and now they're in this huge money issue. So they are $20 million in debt, Allison. As somebody who's in this world, knows a lot about donors and fundraising, how much of a challenge will that $20 million in debt be for Democrats come 2026 for their midterm reelection campaigns?
Well, I think they have a real come to Jesus moment. They need to, some of the leaders have to step up with the vision and communicate and connect with these types of new voters who want answers. They want people who are genuine and authentic. When you ask them questions, they want real answers. You can't just go on Oprah Winfrey and she asks you very softball questions. And the one hardball question she asked, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago? And you hem and haw and say, girlfriend, well, I grew up middle class with a lawn. She should have just said, no, we're not. And this is how I'm going to make us better off in the next 4 years, and basically put the line in the sand and say, I was a vice president, he was a president, and if I'm president, I'm going to do this to stop the homeless problem, whether it be rehab for addicted people, plugging up the holes, loopholes for migrants coming through the southern border, things that you can do to help with inflation as well, possibly increase oil and gas production in-house within the United States. We have more oil and gas reserves than anyone else in the entire world combined, and that really contributes to inflation. So real policy questions and with real answers, that's what voters like me want to hear now.
Yeah.
There's also a quick question. Is it common practice to pay Democrat celebs? I know they said it was a production expense. We didn't actually pay them. If you want to get something through accounting, you call it a production expense when you don't want to be specific. That happens in every business. So quickly, 15 seconds. Is that normal to pay celebs?
You know what? I've never really heard of that. I don't think you pay Joe Rogan. I don't think you pay Theo Vaughn. Right. I don't think you pay the celebrities. I mean, do you have to call her daddy? Do you have to pay for the set design? Do you have to spend $100,000 for this?
It raises a lot of questions, but you answered a lot of them for us, Allison. We appreciate it.
Tyree. Clearly, hold on. Clearly, there is a lack of financial literacy and a lack of money management for this Democratic administration to raise $1 billion and to now raise the $1 billion in 90 days and to now be in the hole, be into debt of $20 million. You tell me, how in the holy hell could this woman come in if she had been elected to be the president of the United States by stating what some of her policies are, by helping the working class and the middle class people or citizens to rebound and to gain some type of financial reprieve or relief, when this woman and her campaign and her administration clearly lacks financial literacy and money management skills, Dan?
Well, Malik, there's several reasons why she lost. And actually, the Democrats, when you include that super PAC, they raised over $1,600,000,000.
Mm.
Now, the super PAC is different. They can't technically be a part of the Harris campaign, but they can pay for ads and all that kind of stuff to go after her enemies and also support the other Democrats, down ticket or whatever. So when you include all that, it was $1.6 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But that is technically not part. The 600 million is not a part of the Harris campaign. But going back to why she lost, well, for one thing, she was a terrible candidate. She was intellectually vapid. I mean, all she could do is regurgitate stuff, lines, and teleprompter reading. Lines and stuff like that. When you ask her a question, point blank, you could see her looking up, looking around,
Stuttering.
Yeah, and okay, what do I supposed to say? What's my canned answer to that? And she never did any real press conferences or anything like that. She did not have the intellectual depth to be president, meaning she could not grasp the issues. And the stuff that she just ran on canned slogans and all that kind of stuff. The difference between her and Obama was that Obama at least could think extemporaneously. You could ask him a question. It might have been some old tired answer, but he could definitely come across.
He could articulate.
Yeah, and he looked like he knew what he was talking about. Okay, this woman here, it doesn't matter if you were one of her supporters. People had to notice how intellectually vapid or dumb she was. That she had no grasp of the issues. You can spend all the money you want to. You can do all the bread and you can have all the entertainers and all that kind of stuff you want. But the Democratic Party over the last 20 years or so has gotten out of touch with mainstream America.
Mm-hmm.
It's become the party of the coastal elites, Hollywood's wealthy athletes. It left their core group, which is the middle class and the blue collar people of America. Middle America. Look at the map. We see the electoral map, how red it is. And it's blue.
Red wave.
It's blue on the East Coast. It's blue in the Chicago area. Stuff like that. That's why they lost. That's why they could have spent $3 billion. It wouldn't have mattered. Because they lost touch with the average American voter. These people felt, the average American citizen felt the bite of inflation, all of that stuff, and this woke mentality.
But she kept lying to the American people, Dan, talking about Bidenomics is working when people beg to differ because they looking at their damn grocery bills, they looking at their savings accounts, their bank accounts.
That's exactly right. But her biggest supporters are the elite. The coastal elite, and they are immune to the vicissitudes of the economy, and the you look at what's his name, the guy from MSNBC, that idiot that's on in the mornings. He and his wife, his name escapes me now, but he didn't even know what the price of butter was.
Yeah, I seen that when he said, it's $7, $9 now.
Yeah, he's a coastal elite, and those are her staunchest supporters. George Clooney, people like that. You think he can't? It's all about, it's like we said before, it's all about power and control. Keeping power. They put her up there. We already talked about a few episodes back as to why she was selected. Biden double-crossed Obama and Nancy Pelosi and installed her. Okay, you guys are going to stab me in the back. I am going to openly endorse her and pin you guys in a corner. So, and if you go out, if you bring in someone else and try to have an open convention, you're going to piss off all the black women that we know we need to keep on the plantation. If you go after her and remove her, so that's what they did.
But what I want you to to engage with the viewers and listeners on is the tactics, some of the tactics, and some of the trying to find this word, some of the tactics and some of the plotting and scheming that they did in coming together to use that strategy, to use those campaign funds to sway and to manipulate and to pull the wool over the individuals that was running in behind her to vote her in to become their president of the United States by bringing out these celebrities, by bringing out these Hollywood elites, by bringing out these pastors that needs to be held accountable for their part that they played in trying and being willing to lead their people and they flock to bring their demise.
Yeah, it's bread and circuses. It's what Rush used to call it, symbolism over substance. Stick a woman of color out there, okay? You're gonna get all and put her out there front and center and say she represents America, even though her policies are anti-American and they are really socialistic. And do the bread and circuses, meaning have these performers. You paid these performers, whether it's production costs or whatever you want to. You had them performing, twerking and doing all that stuff. And it's like I said, Malik, in past. They look at certain segments of the voting bloc as stupid. And all you got to do is keep them amused and keep food in their bellies or whatever, and you get them to vote for you no matter what. Now, in a lot of cases, that's true. And that was their strategy. That's why when the first event she launched, she had the Megan the Stallion woman down there in Atlanta twerking and all that kind of stuff.
And how much did she? And how much did she pay that? Yeah. And how much did she pay her? What? $5 million?
Something like that. Whatever you want to call it, production costs or whatever. But you could see all the black cat clapping seals. Oh yeah, and that's how they get these people. Now, okay, what are you going to do about the crime-ridden black communities? What are you going to do about getting the inflation down to help the average black single mother who has 3 or 4 kids that she's trying to feed? What are you going to do about that? You think Megan the Stallion cares about that?
Absolutely not.
No.
Or Glorilla or Sexy Red.
Yeah, but that's the tactics they use. They want to keep us amused and give us just enough to keep our bellies full. And that's how but that's been the MO for the Democratic Party forever. And it's worked up until now. Young black men, some people are coming, have seen the light and they realize what's going on, that these people are all show and no substance. So they're not helping my community. They're not helping my communities at all. And you look, and then they get the athletes. They get these athletes to endorse them, or they get these, and the people in the media are all in their back pockets. The Democrats and the media are one. Okay, right. The mainstream media and the Democratic Party they are a unified force. Okay, you cannot look at the mainstream media, whether it's NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC or whatever, and listen to them objectively, because they are slanted, heavily slanted. They are advocates. They're not news people anymore. They are strictly advocates. Because I'm
looking and I'm watching. The Democratic Party, the Democratic administration is getting exposed on these campaign funds now. It's coming out there in mainstream media. It's been exposed. But you know what, though, Dan and Tyreek? You got a lot of these women out here and a lot of these individuals that was drinking this woman's Kool-Aid that cannot really grasp. They refuse to grasp what's being exposed out here. I mean, they're having a real hard time. You know what I think it was? I think it was a hell of a spell that they cast on these people. It was a hell of a spell that they cast on these individuals that wanted to see that woman become their president of the United States. They did a hell of a casting of a spell on these people.
Do you remember, Malik, back at the beginning of the year, there were even talks in the media that Biden might cut her loose because she's such an unpopular vice president. Remember that?
Yes.
They were even, and this was in the mainstream media. This wasn't a conservative media. They were talking because she was so unpopular. Remember when she ran for president, she didn't get a single delegate. She left before the primaries.
The first time.
Destroyed her. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed her in her last debate. Within a week, she was out. She got exposed. And then, of course, she was a diverse DEI hire by Biden, because he said, I gotta have a black woman. He could have gotten somebody, I don't agree with her politics or whatever, somebody that like Stacey Abrams, who would have been much more formidable opponent. because she's a highly intelligent woman. But he brought her in because she up next to him, he looks like a Mensa member compared to her. So he wouldn't. She would not detract from him. That's what a lot of presidents do. They'll end up getting a running mate that it may be popular, fits a certain category, but will not detract from them. The light will still be shining on it, and that was basically her. She just, he secured the black female vote by picking her, and he made her the border czar, and he gave her the voice. I mean, but she never did do anything. She was she was horrible.
But let me get Tyreek to jump. Let me get Tyreek to jump in on this. Hey, Tyreek, with this $1 billion that this woman and the Democratic administration and campaign had raised in 90 days to now end up in a situation where they $20 million in the hole for cowboying that type of money on these damn Hollywood elites and these entertainers and these low budget entertainers and actors and singers. What's your take on that, brother?
See, man, can y'all hear me? Mic good?
Yeah, the mic is good.
Okay, cool. So I'm like, my perspective is,
look at the camera so you can talk to your viewers and listeners, man.
Yeah. My perspective is, I want to consider myself a master psychology. I specialize in human behavior, right? And how people behave.
Talk up a little louder too, if you can.
Yeah, I specialize in human behavior and how people think and what motivates people, right? So you got to look at the whole entire story. You got to let's take it back to let's just take it back to the debate when Joe got up there and Joe started stuttering. Mm-hmm. And Joe started acting like he had dementia, and Joe ain't been acting right. Now you got a problem. Because remember, prior to that, Joe Biden was raising money. He was going around to the George Clooney's and he was going around to the Super PAC people. These are the investors. These are the people that putting up all their bread for you to be president. You know what I'm saying? So they're looking at you like, yo, hold on, man. Joe ain't looking right. So they got the phone, he picked the phone up and they called Barack up, like, yo, what's up with your mans? Your man's out here, he ain't talking right. Something ain't going, what's up? We got all this bread on y'all. Y'all got to come through and do what y'all say y'all was going to do. We need 4 more years to pull our caper off. You know what I'm saying? So now they looking at, Barack is looking at this man, it's Joe, like, yo, Joe, he done waited past you can't put nobody in the game at this point. You feel me? To be the president, you got to go like through gladiator school. That's like, to be a champion, you got to go through the playoffs. You got to go through the brackets.
Yeah.
You got to beat you got to beat the contenders so you can get that spot to say you're going to be the president. There ain't none of that. All that's over with now. Joe done waited too long. Because Joe ain't want to sit down. He won't do his turn, man. That's like telling Jordan to hang the cleats up, man. You don't want to lead a game when you at the prime. You think you're at the prime of your game. This man, you know how long Joe was trying to be president? Joe was trying to be president since the 80s.
Yeah.
Joe was
the late 80s, that's for sure.
Yeah, Joe was trying to do this for a long time before Barack and all of them. He done watched everybody get their turn. And now he in there. It's time for him to do his thing. He want to go another round,
Let's take a quick commercial break so we can pay these bills. My name is Malik Davis. I'm effective and I'm efficient when it comes down to producing those credit results. I don't play around. Yeah, I have a lot of shrewdness with me and a lot of aggressiveness with me, but I get the job done and my clients appreciate that.
There's a dude by the name of Malik. We call him Malik, the credit guru. He goes in and cleans up everything.
What type of clients do I service? I service them all. Blue collar, white collar, doctors, lawyers, actors, singers. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't have time for your games. I don't have time for your bullshit. Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't.
And one of the reasons why my credit is incredible because I got Malik Davis, 211 Credit Guru. This is not an endorsement. This is knowledge.
Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't. Either you want me to properly educate you and lead you to where you need to be led so you can obtain the things that you need to obtain, or you don't. You seeking my services out. Don't tell me what it is that you want to do when you're seeking my services out, because I'm telling you what you need to do.
No matter how much money you got, that credit got to be right. So I can always depend on my boy Malik Davis to make sure my credit is always right. No matter how much money you got in this world, your credit is crucial. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's tight, make sure it's right. Check him out.
Welcome back to The Score. Tyreek, go ahead and resume on, brother, because you was kicking something that was real deep.
Y'all want to go another round. You know, in order for him to get the chair, this was the 2020 elections, right? This one everything was going down. This one George Floyd got, whatever. Everybody was on the Black Lives Matter. You ain't no way you gonna get the chair without having some black person in there. So he did, like Dan said, they had to make that move. And they went with her. I won't say she not intelligent. She got the number one spot, the number two spot, however she got it.
But that don't mean that you intelligent.
She's just saying intelligent on certain things that you think she should be intelligent on, but she know how to run some type of game. And let's get it. Don't get it twisted. It's politics, baby. You understand what I'm saying? Don't underestimate. She's a politician. She was playing that game, so she made it to the number one. Go watch the movie like House of Cards and all that. You see what we're going on behind the scenes to get any type of chair in politics. So she know how to play that at least. She might not know the foreign events, foreign affairs, and economy and all that, but she knew something. But she did enough to make herself number two. But anyway, they're looking at Joe like, they ain't got no more move left. So now the super PAC people like Clooney and them like, look, we ain't not putting no more bread into this. Y'all better switch up quick, figure something out, or we gonna withhold all this billions of dollars y'all talking about, So they was holding up the bread, so now they have to make a play to get Kamala. Like, she the second, she's the next best thing right now. She all we got. That's it. We can't really switch up right now. Joe don't wait too long. We gotta play this card. So now she forced to be in the game now, but you gotta understand, she ain't go through the gladiator school. She ain't go through the playoffs.
She ain't go through the initiation.
She ain't go through the initiation. That part was skipped. So now you got to figure out a way how you can showcase her. You can't showcase her because you had her on the bench for 4 years. Nobody know what kind of shots she takes. Nobody knows she can go left, right. Nobody seen her play. Nobody seen her game. They seen the results. Like you say, you supposed to be, they put her up like you supposed to be the border czar. They know they weren't gonna do nothing with the border, but they didn't think that was gonna mean anything. They think they was gonna get another, shot at it. All Joe had to do was talk a little right, act like he had some sense, but he couldn't do that. So now the players all messed up. So now here come Kamala. She's in the chair. Now you got to figure out how to do it. They didn't do like Donald Trump did. Donald Trump got a real campaign manager. You seen it when she stepped up there. She didn't even say nothing. Like, I don't even want to say nothing. Now she chief of staff. What did Kamala them do?
Which was a good pick. Which was a very good pick for him to pick her as his chief of staff.
Very good. She's very good.
But what did Kamala them do? They didn't go get a real campaign manager. They went and got a promoter. They got Sputnik Promotions. You know what I'm saying? They thought it was a production. Like, we gonna get a promotion, man. We gonna, because they're looking at our algorithms, man. You understand? The Democratic Party, like, look, man, they the one who had us in chains in the first place. Don't forget about that. You understand what I'm saying? The Democratic Party, like, look, man, the way we keep these people in these slaves and these chains, man, we gotta give them. I'm gonna just say, we gonna have to edit it out, but we gotta give niggas what niggas want. That's how they looked at us, man. Let's be real.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
right. We gotta give them what they want. But these niggas like twerking and dancing, man. They don't care now about
which is very, very sad.
It's
sad though. That's very. It's sad.
That's the way the Democratic Party perceives black people.
Wow.
That is it. That's it in a nutshell.
They think
we think in a monolith. I mean, we're all the same. We're all the same. We think alike. Groupthink. That's the way the Democrats perceive black folks. You know that's the truth. Just look at it from a historical standpoint. At least the last 20 years.
Dan, you know what? I'm really, really beginning to think and you and I have had these conversations before, and I hate to say it like this, but you know, I'm a straight shooter, and you and I have had these conversations before. I'm really starting to believe, Dan, that black folks are cursed.
Well, all I can say is they can't.
I'm really starting to believe that.
The majority of us cannot think outside the box. That's all I'm going to tell you. I encounter black folks all the time. I'm black. Look at me. I'm telling you, they have that mentality where if it's they just can't think outside the box. They can't see an alternative. It's like you go from a generational. It's a generational thing. Blacks. My granddaddy voted Democrat. My parents voted Democrat. I'm voting Democrat. Well, why are you still voting Democrat? What has the Democratic Party done for you? My parents have voted Democrat. And
so you think this got something to do with the deep slavery that took place during the Civil War when the Democrats and the Republicans was hashing it out over slavery to free slaves?
Actually, before before 1960, blacks voted heavily Republican.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
And then it changed with Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty.
When he said we'll have these Negroes voting for us for the rest of their lives.
For the next 200 years.
Wow. And that was a Democratic Party.
And it wasn't a civil rights act or whatever. It was the war on poverty.
Wow.
It expanded all the give outs. And what it did, it destroyed the black community. It destroyed the black family. It made it monetized childbirth. It made it profitable. And it allowed black men to abdicate their responsibility as being men, head of the house, and staying with the families. It allowed us to procreate at will and not have to worry about it because Uncle Sam would take care of it. And it just totally destroyed the black community. It destroyed the black family. Ultimately, it destroyed the black community. And that's why you see crime, drugs, and everything else in the black community now, because you don't have strong black men in the black community. They've taken us out of it.
But the strategies that they use, because I'm sticking to the financial literacy part. I'm sticking to the money management part, Dan. That's where I'm at with it. This woman raised $1 billion, or this campaign, or her administration, or this woman raised $1 billion in 90 days.
But you have to look at it this way.
In 90 days.
I know, Malik, but you have to look at it this way.
And now $20 million in the hole.
Okay, Malik, she was not calling the shots. Technically, when it comes to handling money, she's out there.
Her administration was,
but it was her inner circle and her campaign manager and those people. They're idiots, and some of those people work for the government too. That's all.
And they have no financial literacy.
No. When you look at the legislation that was passed the last 3.5 years, that Inflation Reduction Act, what did it do? It did the opposite. It caused inflation to go through the roof. That Infrastructure Act.
9%.
Okay, they built 7 or 8? I might be wrong with the number. 7 or 8 of those EV charging stations. Guess how much it cost? $9 billion.
Wow.
That's the way they spend money. Listen, both of those acts were nothing but political payouts or paybacks to big Democrat donors who set up NGOs or were big investors in green energy companies and all these other companies that you and I talked about before. That's why they rammed it down. They didn't get a single Republican to support either one of those acts. And that's why they rammed it down after. One was at the end of 22, before the Republicans took over. At the end of 22, they rammed that thing. December, it was before Christmas. That last act they ran, it just total garbage. Just money being spent like crazy on crazy stuff. And we can do a whole segment on the kind of on federal government waste. But that was the kind of stuff that was going down. I mean, and that's why they don't have any. They don't care because it's not their money.
Tyreek, let me ask you this question. Why you think it's so hard for these individuals that was rallying in behind this woman to become their president to really get and really see what's been exposed now in the mainstream media with this money, on how this money was squandered like that on celebrities, entertainers, pastors in these churches aligning themselves with this woman and with their party to deceive the people and to bring these people's demise.
Malik,
I mean,
her core. I'm sorry, Tariq. Go ahead.
oh, I mean, I believe like these people, man, they were emotionally invested into the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because this whole thing, the reason when it came, it's like when going back to the situation when she got into the race. You know what I'm saying? That's like a football game. Your team already down 21. Game, now you want to sub the quarterback in. You the game is basically already done. So she's coming in. And they got this money now. Now the money has returned. The money's a return for them to win this election, and they got 90 days to make something happen. So what you got to do is you got to look at what influenced these people. You got to think. You got to think psychologically. Like, okay, we need this segment over here to win this election. You know what I'm saying? We need these black people. We need the people opposite of whatever Trump got. Let's put it that way. We need that to come in and win this election. What do they like? What are these people? Who can influence these people to make these decisions?
But that's a shame on the strategies that they use to try to get these black.
No, it's not. It's not no shame, bro. That's how the game goes. It's politics. It's always been like this since we've been.
But they think of black people like they're pieces of shit.
I mean, black people presenting themselves like they pieces of shit. Let's get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, bro. We only give them what they show, what we show them. This is what we show them, bro. Look at this shit. Look at what we do. Look at the music. Look at the culture. The people that they brought to influence us. Look at the culture that they represent. Look at this shit. Come on, man. Why you twerking at a political event? Come on, man. That shit don't make no sense. Why we mad at
you
them?
running for president of the United States, and you got twerkers out there on the stage with you.
But that's what the segment won't. She could not have
Exactly.
gotten them out there regard. If she didn't do it, they weren't coming out.
Bread and circuses. How many
So
times
you can't really
get
get mad at her because they ain't gonna come out. They ain't gonna come out. They had to do something to get them to come out. Because that's what we had as a people, bro.
But the level of thinking, but the level of thinking.
That's us, bro.
Huh?
Why you mad? You can't get mad because somebody push a button that they know they can push.
But the level of thinking that these folks have out here to be wanting a dirty butt to be out here twerking at a.
Whose fault that is?
Malik.
Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it,
Yeah,
bro?
exactly. Malik, 4 years from now, if the same people, listen, the same people that voted for Kamala this year, you put the same kind of candidate out there in 2028, they're going to vote for that same person. They're not going to change. Yeah, no. You might shave off, say 2 to 3% of those people. They'll get a brain and start thinking critically. But the rest of them, no. I guarantee you again, in 28, if they put another person of color,
26.
Who are the Democrat? No, 28 for president. 4 years from now, they put another person of color, a woman, or even a white male, a beta male, white male, to run. They're still going to vote. The average black woman, the black female will still get the Democrat will still get 90% of the black female vote, and they'll still get 60 to 70% of the black male vote. And they'll still
tell me that these women out here are that emotionally invested.
Yes.
And not looking at the broader scope of the bigger picture.
Symbolism over substance. You have to remember that. They know they strike emotional chords with the black community. They talk about slavery, talk about reparations. They know that then blacks will never get reparations.
They talk about killing babies. They talk about killing babies.
No. Yeah, about killing babies. The right for a woman to choose. Stuff like that. They know those are emotional touchstones. And they will always get that segment riled up, just like they'll get the single white female riled up by talking about a woman's right to choose. Okay? They're going to always have that. I mean, they'll always have those segments. All you got to do is touch on those kind of topics. And like I said, reparations, and it's always symbolism over substance. That's how they keep that core. But just like I said, the young black males are peeling away because they're critically thinking. How is this affecting my pocketbook? I want to start a business. I'm trying to get financing and stuff. I don't want inflation. I'm dealing with supplies and all that kind of stuff. Young black males are getting it. People my age, black males my age, they're lost cause. Most of them.
Wow.
The millennials on past to the baby boomers, and they are a lost cause, male and female, in the black community.
Let's take a quick commercial break so we can pay the bills.
My name is Malik Davis. I'm effective and I'm efficient when it comes down to producing those credit results. I don't play around. Yeah, I have a lot of shrewdness with me and a lot of aggressiveness with me, but I get the job done and my clients appreciate that.
There's a dude by the name of Malik. We call him Malik, the credit guru. He goes in and cleans up everything.
What type of clients do I service? I service them all. Blue collar, white collar, doctors, lawyers, actors, singers. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't have time for your games. I don't have time for your bullshit. Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't.
And one of the reasons why my credit is incredible because I got Malik Davis 211 credit guru. It's not an endorsement. This is knowledge.
Either you want your credit fixed or either you don't. Either you want me to properly educate you and lead you to where you need to be led so you can attain the things that you need to attain, or you don't. You seeking my services out. Don't tell me what it is that you want to do when you're seeking my services out, because I'm telling you what you need to do.
No matter how much money you got, that credit got to be right. So I can always depend on my boy Malik Davis to make sure my credit is always right. No matter how much money you got in this world, your credit is crucial. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's tight, make sure it's right. Check him out.
Welcome back to the score. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, but like I said, it's kind of like a line of demarcation in terms of age. And I say if you're 50 plus and you're in the black community, you're going to stay on that plantation until they put you in the ground.
Wow.
That's basically it. But there's hope in the younger generation, especially young black male, and some of the young black females are figuring it out, and they know there are alternatives out there. And they know they've seen the plight of the cities. I mean, the black community in these cities, and that they haven't improved over their lifetimes, which is like 20 to 30 years. They see what's going on. They see that the Democrats control these cities and stuff, and they haven't seen any improvements and stuff. It's only gotten worse under Democrat control. These young folks know that.
Right. And I blame these partakers that partaked in that, which is these pastors, which is these celebrities, which is these elite Hollywood celebrities. I blame them for partaking in that to bring the masses and to bring these individuals' demise, Dan.
Exactly.
And they need to be held accountable. You cannot give them an scapegoat. You can't give them a way out, because they need to be held accountable.
They won't be. They'll go right to the next election and get out there and do it, and then they'll still get the same group of people out there all riled up. But I'm telling you, they're losing a lot of young people, and that gives us hope. And the celebrity endorsements don't amount to anything anyway. Nobody pays any real attention. That these people were going out there to see these people perform.
But look at the money that they cowboy though. Look at the money that they cowboy though, Dan.
Yeah.
And now my point that I'm trying to make, you $20 million in the hole. Where is the intelligence, the intellect? Where is the money management skills? And where is the financial literacy for these so-called individuals that are Hollywood elites, celebrities, that's supposed to be so-called leaders of your community and leaders of the masses?
They like those skills. They like them. They don't have them. They spent that kind of money. And like I said before, and see, a lot of this money is coming from big donors. Mm-hmm. I mean, it comes from, there's not a lot of, you do have grassroots, but like we talked about before, a lot of this money is coming from outside and all of that. And they just see the spigot. It's just flowing in, and they're spending it as it's.
I can tell you, it was a lot of stealing going on. It was a lot of stealing going on.
This will be fraud. There's always fraud in that situation.
I didn't catch that.
I said there was probably a lot of fraud. Yeah. And I mean, people will listen. People get rich. A lot of these people make a lot of money. These so-called experts and consultants and stuff make a ton of money. If you go down the list, they spend millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars on consultants.
Well, I'd be willing to bet you that it's going to be a strong and a deep investigation that's going to take place, even though it's dealing with campaign funds or whatever. But at the same time, a lot of these celebrities and a lot of these Hollywood elites and a lot of these low-level, low-budget celebrities, they are getting ready to be investigated from the IRS.
Possibly. Yes.
You the tax man. You the tax man. Tax man.
Because you know, Joe hired all those IRS agents. He's in the process of hiring 80,000 IRS agents. So they're going to twiddling their thumbs. So they'll have something to do, I guess. Of course, that was supposed to be over a number of years. So he won't get his full 80,000. But I mean, they've already started hiring some kids. I don't know how many they brought in. But there are definitely some new auditors out there. And they're going to need something to do. There's only so many small business people they can go after.
Well, in closing, we wanted to make sure we plugged in with our viewers and listeners here on this episode of The Score. And I want you guys to stay plugged in to this YouTube channel, Upscale Entertainment TV, and stay plugged into The Score. We got more great knowledge, more great content and information and financial plays that we're going to be sharing with you guys coming up very, very soon here on The Score. So stay plugged in. Malik D, your financial credit guru, the hit maker, The Score. Peace.
If only you knew, you would call up the credit guru. Now I'm good with the credit bureau. Went from 540 to a 750. New credit lines, I'ma push the limit. See signs of Christ all through the city.
MalikDavis.com